Good evening. Hello. Hello. Well, good evening. This is Shafted, the show that confronts players with an agonizing moral dilemma. Tonight, two people could walk away with a massive cash prize that will change their lives forever, or absolutely nothing. Their fate's in each other's hands as they decide whether to share or to shaft.
You know, if there's one show where being an asshole was both appreciated and punished at the same time, this would be it. We're going back across the pond to Great Britain for another game show. This one is more or less the shortest show I've ever covered on the Duality Dustbin YouTube channel that actually aired. As Our Little Genius never aired, I do not consider it the shortest lasting show on the channel. So that means, yes, this show lasted for less time than Downfall. And to be honest, it's not too hard to see why. The show in question is titled Shafted. While an easy concept to grasp, and dare I say it, an interesting concept on paper, Shafted is just one of those shows that make you go, what the hell were they smoking when they made this? Shafted was a short-lived game show that aired on ITV from November 5th to November 26th of 2001. So yes, this show lasted less time than it takes to cook minute rice. Originally to get 20 episodes, the show ultimately ended up getting 4 episodes, meaning, yes, the vast majority of the filmed season is lost. The show is hosted by former British MP Robert Kilroy Silk, who, yeah, I'd rather not get into it on my channel. Anyway, let's get into how the show worked. At the beginning of the show, 6 potential players are brought on. They are then instructed to give themselves up to £25,000, equivalent of about £53,672 today, or for those who need a yeehaw dollar measurement, $72,536. But they need to be mindful, because the player that gives themselves the most money is automatically eliminated from the game, which, let me just say it, that's fucking amazing as hell. Imagine being so greedy, your greed costs you to show. Absolute fucking goldmine of humor. The game then actually begins with 5 players, all given the money that they requested. They're asked a series of questions, which they can all wager on. The question is only partially asked to begin with, and only the player with the highest wager will get to hear the full question, with 10 seconds to answer. Get it right, and whatever you wagered will be added to your prize total. Get it wrong, and it will be deducted. The player with the most money at the end of the round will get to choose who to shaft, aka game show speak for eliminate. And Kilroy Silk doesn't give any witty catchphrases. He just says, "You're off the show." And boom, nothing. No walk of shame, no interviews, nada. Just transition to the next segment. In future rounds, the other contestant totals are increased to match the player with the highest amounts total. In the second round, the shift option is introduced. This gives the players the option to pass the question to another player at one point in the game, and it can only be used once. If the question is answered wrong, the player who is asked the shifted question loses their money, and the person who shifted the question gets away scot-free. However, if the player gets the question right, the money that was wagered on the question is added to that player's total and subtracted from the other player's total. Rinse and repeat until 2 players are remaining. We then go into one of the most cliche moments in television for the final round, the prisoner's dilemma, or as referred to in the show as share or shaft. The contestants are made to split or steal the contestant with the highest total winnings as winnings after 3 rounds. If both contestants choose to share, they both win half of the total prize money. If one chooses to share and the other chooses to shaft, then the one who chooses to shaft takes all of the money. And if both players choose to shaft, both walk away with nothing. The most amount of money won by 2 players was Michelle and Claire from episode 1, who won a combined total of £103,000, or £197 and £28 in 2026 money. At the top of your screen, for all of those who don't want to do the conversion, you'll see the conversion into Yeehaw cash at the top. The most amount won individually by a split steel decision was £73,000, or £139,642 in 2026 money by Frankie in episode 2. The most amount of money lost by both players as a result of a double shaft was £217,000, or £415,099 in 2026 money in the final episode. And now, on to the reason that the show failed. 1. The show was not popular. While the first episode gained quite a bit of traction from the UK public, raking its 7 million viewers, the other 3 episodes did not do so well, and as a result, led to ITV pulling the plug 4 episodes in. 2. The show is way too fast-paced for my tastes. The shows were usually only given 30 minutes to make an episode work, with 1 ad break in between. While not the show's fault, if given more time to, get to know the contestants, then maybe you can humanize them more, rather than just seeing them as, game show contestants. 3. This is a personal gripe, but The Prisoner's Dilemma has been overdone on game shows. While Shafted was the first one to make use of it, the first show I saw that took advantage of The Prisoner's Dilemma was Take It All, hosted by Howie Mandel. And ultimately, a psychological event can be done to death in the wrong conditions. Overall, Shafted as a game show is something unique, but ultimately it struggled with unpopularity, rushing, a bad host, and a done-to-death concept. Numerous international pilots were pitched, but of them, only Australia, the Netherlands, and Russian versions all came out. The show is kind of like Millionaire meets The Weakest Link and had all the tools to succeed, but ultimately failed in the end, with the show ultimately being considered one of Britain's worst game shows. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Duality Dustman, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.